In this video, I'm going to show you how to use express lead time in your forecasts. And the reason that this was created was because we would find that we would sometimes come upon increases in sales. So maybe it was that your competitor ran out of inventory unexpectedly and you had a better sales month than you were planning. Or maybe you were mentioned on the Today Show, or a blogger mentioned you and you had a peak in sales that was unexpected. And all of a sudden you see that you're running out of inventory and you actually have to air freight some inventory into Amazon. So what would happen is that you would have to calculate how much are you going to send by air and how much you're going to send by sea so you don't run out of stock, but at the same time you don't spend too much on air shipment on units that are not going to sell by the time your ocean freight shipment gets to Amazon. So in the past, you'd have to do the calculation yourself. You'd have to do it in your head. You'd have to create a spreadsheet. This is a tool that has been built to avoid having to do all that. So in this scenario, I've created a manual velocity of 40 units in order to create a stock out so we can see the example of how this would work. So you've got a stock out on this product, and it'll show up in three different places. It'll show up at the top in this bar that shows you the dates that you'll be stocked out. You'll see it on the actual timeline, the days that you will be selling less than you should be selling, or 0. You'll see them in red. And then you'll see over here the number of days that you're going to be out of stock. So that's 54 days. That's pretty painful, the number of days you're going to be out of stock. And so what we see when we look at these calculation variables, we see the default lead time. And the default lead time for this product is 62 days. Okay, so let's look at the default lead time. You've got 25 days in production. You've got 25 days on the ocean. You've got a prep center, ground freight, and FBA check-in. Okay, so what if you were able to speed up production and also to ship by air? Now, I'm not saying this is a real scenario, but let's say that you could get it in as little as 16 days. So you've got faster production, you've got air freight, and you apply that to this forecast, and you add that as your express lead time. So now, instead of 62 days, you're getting it there in 16 days. You'll see automatically that everything updates for you. Your entire timeline is going to update, and you'll see that you've got less days of stock out up here and down here. It shows you when the inventory is actually going to arrive by air. And then you've got, no longer do you have 54 days, you have 8 days of stock out. So you have a lot less days, so you're saving a lot more. But then scroll down even further and it's going to lay out for you exactly what you need to express order and what your default order should be. So you've got a total order of 4,980, 2,900 you're sending by sea, and the other 2,080 are going to be sent by air. Okay, so now when you go to order this, you click the order button. It's actually going to build out the purchase order for you, but it's going to split it into 2 different shipments. So you see this is your ship by sea, your 62 days is 2,900, and your shipping by air is the 16 days, 2,080. So it'll actually split the PO into 2 separate shipments for you that you will then send to your supplier. And then when you look at the inventory timeline, it's going to give you your air shipment here, and then further down here, it's going to give you your sea shipment. So everything that's laid out is going to be calculated for you. It's going to be laid out for you. If you have any questions as to how the calculations have been made, you can click on this calculator. And you can see the express order, when it's expected to arrive, and the regular lead time order and when it's expected to arrive. You can see when the default lead time order is expected to arrive. You can see how many units you will have left before you run out. and it will all be programmed and calculated for you so that you don't have to think about it. And all you have to do is simply create an express lead time and assign that lead time, and this happens on a per SKU level. Now, you can assign express lead times when you click this down arrow. You can apply express lead times to all of your forecasts in your entire catalog. You can apply them to all of the products within that particular supplier, or you can apply it to all of the products within that particular marketplace. But the important thing is that you don't have to do the math yourself, and you can always have a plan for if you get caught off guard and you have to do an air freight. We'll always use default lead time, and we will always tell you to ship according to your default lead time, but it's just a simple and easy thing to do to be able to calculate your express lead time in those rare occasions when it occurs.